The recent Pecota standings are not friendly to the St. Louis Cardinals, and let's also look at some spring training updates. Stuff on Dangelo Sanja picking his side, Ishan Henderson having an injury, as well as some updates on J.J. Wetherholt and some insight to what we'll be seeing on opening day. Thank you for tuning in to the St. Louis Cardinals Daily Podcast. My name is Andrew Toysher, and while we've already looked at a couple different kinds of projections thus far, the Pecota standings have recently come out, and the Pecota is a fancy phrase. It basically stands for a projection system that is a lot like Fangraphs, who we've talked about before, and they're usually really good at what they do. They have a lot of standard insights that go into this, but they are unique a little bit in their own way. So I'll go over kind of what they are and that they do not like the Cardinals. So Pecota projections has its standard Pecota projection system looking at underlying metrics, past performance, trying to predict future performance, looking at things like aging and normal progression of players, stuff like that. And it folds that into its projections. It also folds into human-assigned depth charts, so where the computer can be really right about the projections, which has been incredibly accurate. If they assign the wrong depth chart there on Baseball Prospectus, then it's going to throw some stuff off. So that's two of the inputs. The final third input is combined, what they call combined with third order win percentages. And that is their algorithm to account for the teams that they will actually be playing and how their types of performances and projections will perform against other teams. So it's trying to really look at the schedule adjusted sort of stuff, so it makes it incredibly accurate. So if you have a really tough division, they're really going to knock you down a bunch of wins compared to maybe Fangraphs, who doesn't consider that as much. That's what makes Pecota unique. What it also makes Pecota unique is that they look at your season as a simulation, and they'll put a wide range on teams of how they think they'll finish. So the Cardinals are projected to win 65.8 wins. It's very few, not looking good, Redbirds, but they do, if you go to their website, it's free to see. I highly suggest it. They lay it out on a chart, and it's a bell curve of the majority of the simulations, how they end up finishing, and they give a really big range for the Cardinals. So all those 65.8 wins sounds terrible, and for the folks who have been preying on the downfall of the team or just saying that this team is going to be historically awful, it'll be historically bad for the Cardinals, but I don't think it'll be actually Colorado Rockies-esque bad. But for the folks that say it will be, they love seeing this. But Pecota will even tell you, hey, this is just the median outcome. There's certainly a wide range that could happen, and I'll poke some holes into why I think I disagree with this projection a little bit. Regardless, Cardinals projected 65.8 wins, which is the second fewest wins in all of baseball next season. They project us to be horrible. Not as bad as the Rockies, so that's good. They project the Rockies to win 61 games, and that is dead last in all of baseball. Then the Cardinals, they're at 29th. At 28th is the Nationals at 66.0 wins, so barely ahead. The Angels just ahead of that, 66.4 wins, and just ahead of that, rounding out the bottom five, is the Chicago White Sox at 69 wins. So they think that the White Sox are considerably better than the Cardinals, but the Angels, National, Cardinals all kind of lumped together, and then the Rockies are a heaping trash pile that call themselves a baseball team. At least they try to. So the Cardinals are projected to be really bad, still not quite the Rockies, but still one of the worst teams in baseball, which I'll open up to. I think that is absolutely a thing that could happen, but I don't think it is the median outcome that we only win 65 games and we have a 90-loss season like we've barely ever had in our existence as a franchise, at least a 95-plus loss season. So I don't think the Cardinals will do that. And the main difference between a site like Fangraphs, who had the Cardinals projected at 75 wins, 10 wins more, and that's more in line of where I am. I could see us having a 90-loss season, a 70 and 90. 65 takes it too far for me. And the main difference between Fangraphs and Baseball Prospectus, and why I agree more with Fangraphs, is they have our pitching, Pecota does, as just doing nothing next year. Significantly less innings pitched by a lot of our starters, according to Pecota, than did Fangraphs. Specifically, a couple players point this out. Dustin May and the Pecota projections, they'll show you kind of on the depth chart. Unless you pay for the premium subscription, you can only kind of see some usage numbers. Their depth chart to show you, we project this guy playing this much to kind of understand why they have their wins as they are. They have Dustin May playing 119 innings pitched, versus Fangraphs, where they projected him for 156 innings pitched. They have Michael McGreevy at 122 innings pitched, while Fangraphs has them at 144. So basically, Dustin May, I think Fangraphs and Pecota probably have him similar of, he'll be decent, if he pitches. Pecota probably projects that he'll either be traded or be really bad and hurt for a lot of the season. And Michael McGreevy, I'm guessing they just don't think he'll work out. He'll have some struggles. I'm not really going to attach myself to the idea that Dustin May has to stay healthy or that Michael McGreevy is going to be exceptional. I just think we've developed so much pitching depth, and it was so many guys now being added. Richard Fitz, Hunter Dobbins, Kyle Leahy, May and McGreevy on top of those guys. Tink Hintz maybe, Quinn Matthews. There's a whole bunch of guys that I think could come up and be decent for us. Better than even guys last year like Eric Fedde and Miles Michaelis. We're coming into the season knowing we're going to have terrible pitching, but it's not like we didn't have terrible pitching last year. Our hitting got worse. Losing guys like Wilson Contreras is going to be significantly worse for the team, but losing Nolan Arenado is not necessarily a loss with how he was playing. That's not to say Nolan can never be good again and he's a terrible player, but last year he performed horribly. It's easy to replace that. I think our pitching can be better than it was last year, and that's going to be just good enough for us to win 70 to 75 games as opposed to 60 to 65 like Pecota suggests we might do. So I think we'll go a little bit above that. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm putting it out there, big bold letters. We will be bad next year. Not competing for postseason, but I don't think we're going to be that bad pushing 100 losses. Again, let me know what you guys think. Want to point out, just to round it out for everybody, the division projections, because this stuff's usually really big, and this is where the Cardinals are usually like angry that we're number 2 instead of number 1. Well, we're projected to finish last in our division, believe it or not. I kind of covered that saying our win projections. But the Cubs, just rounding out these numbers, are projected around 90 wins. The Brewers in second place at 81. The Pirates at 80 in third place. And the Reds in fourth place getting 78 wins. So they think this will be a decent division, all competing for the postseason outside of the Cardinals, which is another reason why I think Pecota puts us lower, because, again, they adjust heavily for the teams you're actually going to play a bunch. So I think with the Cardinals division now being good, the NL Central decided to be good this year. Even the Pirates are trying to actually compete with a good rotation and a good enough lineup. They'll be better than the Cardinals. I have a feeling that either the Reds or the Pirates or even the Brewers could have a down season with as much turnover as they constantly churn out. They could have a random bad year. They're kind of Rays-esque, where they always tend to be good somehow. But even the Rays just had those random down years, because when you turn over so much of your team each year, you're asking for variance. I don't think our division's going to be that top-notch. You guys, again, let me know what you think. I think that plays a big hand in why they project the Cardinals to lose a few more games. Again, we're not going to be good, but I don't think we'll be that bad. Let's get into some spring training news. Dangelo Sanja has been added to the Cardinals this offseason in the Brendan Donovan trade, and he's known for being the ambidextrous pitcher. Well, the Mariners, the day I remember seeing this article, I should have reposted on it saying that, hey, this will be the guy going to the Cardinals here soon. I thought about it, didn't do it. Got to act on my, my vibes there next time. But they said the Mariners, right before he got traded, said that Sanja's going to the right side only. Then he gets traded to the Cardinals, and Chaim Bloom comes out and says, we're going to try this out. Let's see if we can make the ambidextrous thing work, and we'll go from there. We'll at least get him in-house first. And Sanja is got a non-roster invite to be on the spring training roster this year, and they brought him in. And so far, it looks like he's probably going to go to just being a righty. Not for sure yet. They're still testing out that left arm, but in live sessions where he's pitching to live hitters, he's still only pitching right-handed, and they're only letting him pitch left-handed in bullpens just off to the side. This is a quote from Jim Callis of MLB Pipeline talking about why this is probably a good idea. He said, quote, as a righty, Sanja looks like someone who can fit in the front half of a rotation. As a lefty, he looks like a relief specialist. I think if Sanja doesn't work out, it'd be a good gimmick to have in the bullpen, that we could have a lefty anytime we needed it. And I think you keep working on the arm for that reason. But his right arm's just better. Also, durability is a concern. I heard, I forgot what podcast I was even listening to, but a podcast talking about how Sanja, whenever he is pitching and he wants to keep up his left arm, they want to keep those together so that both sides of his body just basically both stay toned and well-maintained. So if he throws as many pitches with his right, he has to equal that on his left side, which for your lower half is going to drain you a lot. So it's not even a good thing that he go forth with this. It could be detrimental to his right arm, which is phenomenal. Some stats that back that up. In an article on MLB.com, they noted that as a lefty, he has 9 strikeouts, 19 walks, so 9 to 19 walk ratio, a 1 dot against him, and he did that in 9 2/3 innings. The Mariners didn't really let him do much with his left arm because it just wasn't good. And as a righty, 111 strikeouts to 32 walks, with a 618 OPS against, and that was through 98 and a third inning. 98 and a third innings, he's striking out 111 guys and walking 32. He's a great pitcher as a righty. He is just not good enough as a lefty. I'm hoping we full-time transition him. Another small note with Ishan Henderson on that, as I'm just covering pitchers here on spring training. He came in with a flexor strain, mild flexor strain. During ramp-up, they noticed that he had this, whether it's something that was kind of carrying over from the offseason or he flared up in the ramp-up. Regardless, he is going to be sidelined for now. He's shut down, no pitch on him right now. They looked and they got an MRI, and there's no underlying damage, so we're not concerned about a long-term injury. But for now, Ishan Henderson, who was a guy I really think could have broke camp with the team if he had an incredible spring training, would have been really good. Wasn't projected to break camp, but if it was really good, he could have broke camp. This kind of shoots that down unless he gets going really, really soon. Texas League Pitcher of the Year last year, 2.59 ERA last year through 25 starts at Double-A. A guy who looks really promising for the Cardinals. This isn't going to be terrible for a long term, but kind of stinks for Henderson. Stinks for the team early on. Something I just wanted you guys noting. Why aren't we hearing Henderson's name? Well, that's why. One guy's name we are hearing a lot about during spring training, getting lots of videos on, is JJ Wetherholt, and just a couple updates on him. Number one is that we've been speculating what position he'll play. Some people are in the comment section saying, hey, he's going to stay at third base and we'll keep somebody else at second, blah, blah, blah. We're getting confirmation JJ Wetherholt will be at second base like we've been saying, like everybody's been saying. Jeff Jones came out and put out a tweet saying, as Cardinals infielders take their first structured ground ball rotation of spring, Nolan Gorman stationed at third, JJ Wetherholt at second base. So JJ Wetherholt looks to be our second baseman opening day. Again, unless something drastically happens that changes that, JJ Wetherholt will be at second. Nolan Gorman will be at third. Also, numbers. I don't know if you guys care about what numbers guys are wearing. I think it's cool and interesting. I just like to know. JJ Wetherholt will be wearing number 77 during spring training because he's not on the 40-man roster. And as tradition goes, you don't give guys not on the 40-man roster good numbers that other people could take. However, they're making him earn a number, but he's kind of already picked out his number. I'm told it's being set aside and that he has laid a clear preference as to what number he would like to have once he's placed on the 40-man roster, and it is number 26, which I think is a solid number for a second baseman and JJ Wetherholt. You know, throw in the comment section what guys you think of when you think Cardinals number 26. What popped into my brain first was Trevor Rosenthal, seeing him all those years in number 26, as well as Kyle Loesch recently wore number 26. The most recent guy to wear number 26 was Luken Baker. I didn't really remember him much wearing number 26. I remember Luken Baker, but I didn't, the name association with the number there, didn't really care so much about it. And for the more seasoned Cardinals fans watching, Scott Spiezio, famously number 26 for the Cardinals, a fan favorite from the St. Louis area. So number 26, I think works well on him. I think he'll be great in the big leagues. May have to go out there and get a number 77 jersey, though. That'd be awesome to have just stashed away as a JJ Wetherholt number 77. So whenever they retire 26, you can say that you had him at number 77. Thanks again for tuning into the St. Louis Cardinals Daily Podcast. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about his number choice. Let me know what you guys think about Dangelo Sanja being a righty only, about the Pecota standings, where you think we finish, all that jazz. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, guys. We're already up past 850 subscribers. We're well on our way to hitting 1K before opening day. Let's get there, folks. Don't forget to tell somebody you love them, and go Birds.